This crew called Hoop Jargon. They've been getting at it, man. They the ones that's gonna grill you, man, because they majority are all Houston people. So that's
Shout out to Hoop Jargon.
Man, I'm here with my man with Hoop Jargon, the best in the game, man. And you know I only live selected few in my circle. And this is the real dude right here. We gonna get down with the get down.
Good morning, wie geht es Ihnen? You have had the luxury to be at the Hoop Jargon show. You ain't not gonna speak a little German, huh? Y'all used to play ball in Germany, man. I picked up a little German. So, man, thank y'all for coming up on this Monday morning. Well, it's morning over here on the West Coast. If you're on the East Coast, you're just crossing the afternoon time at 9:07 a.m. So we're going to talk about the Warriors game. And I see a segment that Stephen A. Smith talked about it. So I'm going to compare and contrast notes because I ain't even watch it yet. So thank y'all for all tuning in. I see we got some early birds in the building. I told you I'm going to do these more frequently, man. I appreciate y'all patronizing the page, man. Flight Sports TV in the building. Shout out to Christian G, always on the stream showing love. J&J videos. Y'all know what time it is with J&J. Y'all, hey, if y'all need y'all edits, she's the person who did my intro for my show. So y'all hit up J&J Reacts, man. Super, super cool sister. All right. So let's go into it first. As we know, Golden State Warriors put the smackdown on 107-88. So it was a good game, in my opinion. You saw a contrast in a lot of ways, and we'll get into that. We'll highlight that. And I'm going to talk about some players that may be getting a little too much love, and I'll expound on that in just a bit. J&J gets the praise hands. Yeah, you know what time it is, man. We get flowers around here. So let's go into let's do a share screen real quick, and I'm going to comment on Stephen A's commentary, and if it varies from my own takeaways, then I'll chime in. So thank y'all for tuning in. If y'all got any questions, any concerns, any what have you, y'all feel free to put that in the chat. Feel free to super chat, like, and subscribe to the page if you're not done so already. Let's keep the movement going, man. Viva la Hoop Jargon. Let's get it.
I think everybody played.
Let me say fair use. Now, ESPN doesn't flag. I don't know why they don't flag, but that's good. I'm not using all of this as my whole content. I use it as backdropping, but Fox, they flag my shit every time. So shout out to ESPN for letting the content creators do their thing. I know I always say that, but I mean it.
With more force. It wasn't just me on Jaylen Brown. It was across the board. If I just pick up my force and no one else does, it doesn't work. You know, so that's a total team effort. Guys being ready to help when help is needed, and guys taking on the challenge.
And I think that, and I got to say, I love that because Jaylen Brown was a problem game one. So now the team is picking up the slack, which good seasoned teams do. And that's why I was on Nick Wright ass the other day. Like, good seasoned teams, they know how to throw multiple looks at you. And not only throw a look at you, they're controlled in that aspect, meaning you're not trying to implement something that you never worked on. So you just fail miserably. That tends to happen to teams that try to take on too much at one time. Golden State doesn't suffer with that problem. Shout out to P. Rose, man. Good brother right there, man. Great music composer. That's a good young dude right there, man. Shout out to P. Rose.
Challenge at the point of attack. So yes, I wanted to come out and be more aggressive on that side, and I think I did a good job of that. But that's a full team effort. It doesn't just work.
And again, I love my defensive leader saying I'm going out there and being aggressive. You never hear that. You hear people saying being aggressive offensively. Russell Westbrook. This man understands, and I give and Draymond Green happens to be one of my favorite players. I don't like when people overstate what he is, like when people are saying that he was a MVP candidate kind of guy, and I was like, no. No. However, what Draymond Green is really good at is understanding his limits. He is very good at that. So he used the jargon, as it were, of an offensive player who had a bad game, who's going to come back at it. That reminds me of your boy Dennis Rodman. So he takes defense as seriously as guys take offense, which is very rare in basketball in general over the history of time. So that's why he gets a lot of respect from me as far as what he brings to a team dynamic. So kudos to Draymond.
Because of one guy. Our offense is always a lot of Steph. It all starts with Steph. Whether, when KD was here, our offense still started with Steph. And, that's
I want to see this coming. Draymond out of there. He told Grant Williams, you want to beat me. Draymond just hoop, man. Don't talk shit to Williams. Focus on him. Well, that's kind of what motivates him, though. I personally, I don't have a problem with that. That's what gets him going. Y'all do know that players used to make up fake storylines to get like billboard materials just so they can get mad to get hyped up. Shaq talked about this. Like, so that's Draymond's way to get going. He can't just play. He got to talk. So I personally, I don't, it don't make me know that's what Draymond has to do to get himself going.
The way it's going to be.
I mean, the Warriors in the third quarter.
Man, we all seen this, the signature third quarter flurry. In game one, they did the same thing. Man, look at those numbers. Boston shooting at 24%, 2 of 8 from 3. Lord have mercy. 14 points, 35. That's your ball game, folks.
Had their best quarter in NBA Finals history last night, and it happened in the third, again, outscoring Boston by 21 points and doubled up the season shooting percentage. Curry had 14. He scored as many points as the Celtics did. SA, I'll start with you. Do you think too much is being put on Steph Curry's shoulders right now?
I gotta say, I wonder what JJ Redick gonna say, because JJ Redick being your little wokey woke lately. I definitely I side eye white guys who want to be a wokey woke. But let's see what the brother got to say.
Offensively, I do think that is the case. It was nice to see Jordan Poole get his game going, no doubt about that. But Klay Thompson shooting 4 of 19 from the field.
See, the Jordan Poole thing, I'm gonna get to that in a little later. Like, from a box score standpoint and from a memory standpoint, he had a good game per se. But when they were down early and like close, he didn't give you shit. He started building on the lead once the lead got, established. Like, that shot from half court, crazy. And he hit a 3 right before that. So I'm not taking that away from him. But Jordan Poole was funny when he got going, because he finished the game with 17 points. It didn't look great to me, but I'll expound on that later.
I don't like that at all. I think we got to pay attention to the fact that this is who they're going against. They're going against an elite defensive team that has some offensive firepower of its own. This game was a 2-point game going into the third quarter. We understand.
I got to say, with Steph's shooting percentage is horrible. 9 for 21. Lord have mercy. It goes to show all people care about the stats, man. That's not a great shooting game. We're being honest. That's one of them Kobe games, man. Kobe scored 30 on 30 shots. Again, y'all know I'm pro Kobe. Kobe's my favorite player of all time, but I got to call reality where reality exists.
And somehow inexplicably the Boston Celtics continue to struggle in the third quarter, which is the one blemish on the otherwise illustrious performance of Coach Ime Udoka this season.
Udoka. Why people from New York can't pronounce the A at the end of words? They put ERs at the end. How does that work? Somebody from New York tell me, how does that work?
But nevertheless, when you take into consideration what Steph Curry is being asked to do, yeah, you got him last night. You couldn't close the deal in game one. This series is tied 1-1 going back to Boston. When I think about the Golden State Warriors winning this series in 7 games, which I picked them to do, I'm thinking about the fact that both Jordan Poole and Steph Curry, or Klay Thompson and Steph Curry, get it going. It can't be Steph Curry and such a huge discrepancy between Curry and the rest of the guys in order on the offensive end of the floor in order to win this series. I think you're going to need at least one other individual to step up in order to win 4 games in this particular series.
Now, this is where I vary from conventional thinking. No, they don't. No, they don't. J&J South and Jersey, they're very similar. Man, I hear how New York people talk. Hey, no offense to my New York. I hate how y'all talk. Y'all like everybody should talk like y'all too, which is funny, man. Yeah. Side note, but what Stephen A was talking about was somebody else stepping up. I understand the sentiment that you would want that, but what I said about Nick Wright is, dude, the way the Warriors play, they play organic basketball. You don't need gaudy stats. You need production from everybody. That's what you need. Let's run down what Steph Curry's quote unquote help offensively last night, because Nick Wright said they can only beat Boston if Jordan Poole explodes and Steph Curry explodes. So Curry had 29. Looney had 12. Wiggins had 11. Draymond Green had 9. Klay Thompson had 11. He shot awful, and we'll get to that in a second. Bialisa had 6, and Bialisa played big. He had big minutes to turn the momentum when the lead was very loose, like 1 or 2 point of a deviation, Bialisa stepped in and played his ass off. It won't show up in the box score. He only had 5 rebounds, 3 fouls, 6 points. But he got it mixed up in there. He was mixing it up, rather. He got some tough rebounds that could have been momentum swinging. Bialisa stepped up and did his goddamn thing. Otto Porter Jr. had 3. Gary Payton 2 had 7. That sounds so weird, saying Gary Payton 2. And Jordan Poole had 17. So you didn't get an explosive effort from anybody. And I would say that you'll win most games that way. Keep it like that. Now, Clay's probably going to have to play a lot better than that. But that's pretty much what Golden State is. A balanced attack, strength in numbers, like we talked about since the series started. This is what Golden State is. So I don't agree with this. Somebody else needs to step up per se. They need to just keep those attacks like that. Curry taking the forefront, and they balancing everything out. Everybody playing within themselves. That's what Golden State's real strength is, not just the shooting threes. P. Rose says Celtics were playing under the pick and rolls in the third quarter. But so far, Steph is averaging 32 on 45% and 42 from 3, which is that's awesome. Which he keeps up would be his most efficient finals. Yeah, I agree. Those numbers read well. But I'm also watching the game and like the pace of the game. Again, basketball is a game of runs. And it's interesting when Steph is getting those points. And so it's cool to look at the box score after. But certain actions cause certain results. And I'll give you an example. Game 1, when they had the 10-point or 12-point lead and they lost it, Steve Kerr, after Boston came down, I think hit a 3, and then they hit a 2, and they were down like 7. He should have called timeout right then and put your IQ offense out there, because that team that was out there with Jordan Poole and company, that moment was too big for them. You have to put your guys back out there, because then again, basketball being a game of runs, Boston was fighting back. I think that's the beginning of the fourth quarter when that happened. And I understand the conventional thought that you want to have your guys out there to finish the game out, but you always got to consider, damn, got to leave my guys out too long where it's nothing for them to even salvage. And you saw when he put his starters back out there, there was nothing to salvage. The game was over. So I'm sure that there was an adjustment that Steve Kerr looked at, but those kind of things impact your outcome on a basketball game. Let's go forward.
Stephen, we've talked about this all the time with the great Warriors teams and how their role players star in their roles. And I thought in game
Great comment, start off. Their role players star in their roles. Love it.
1, Otto Porter Jr. was great. Iggy had a couple of nice moments. Kevon Looney has been great on the offensive boards. Jordan Poole, of course.
Kevon Looney has been playing his ass off. And that's a guy that he may sneak and get some money when he leaves Golden State, inevitably. But yeah, Kevon Looney has been an unsung hero in this series. And it's good that he took his lumps early, because Kevon Looney was absolute BFI certified trash to me 2 years ago. But he's been playing into his role perfectly. He is a very solid big man. Now, I'm going to say 3 years ago, I thought he was trash. 3. Yeah. But Kevon Looney's doing his damn thing, man. So shout out to Kevon Looney.
Of course, with a nice game 2 bounce back game. But the idea that too much is being put on Steph Curry, I disagree with that. Just
thank you, sir.
Because we are talking about one of the top 10 or 12 best players in the world ever. We're talking about a guy who's on his 2nd or 3rd max contract. This is who he is. The Warriors system is Steph Curry. Steph Curry is their system.
Facts. He unlocks. He's the key that unlocks that whole thing. Draymond Green is the engine. Steph Curry is the system in itself.
And so much that happens on offense for them is based upon him in pick and rolls.
P. Rose says, Kevon Looney been getting key offensive rebounds and making key plays. Yes, and those things kill the opportunity for bad possessions, because what you don't want to do in games like this is have bad possessions. When you have bad possessions, they kill momentum. Hence, basketball being a game of runs. Those are the intermediate things that cause and affect basketball games. Not just, Curry went for 30. No, it's more than that. It's more than that. It's like, hey, the guys weren't boxing out, so they had some key defensive rebounds that could have been quick offensive rebounds and putbacks, but they didn't box out, or vice versa. Those kind of things don't get talked about. So yeah, I totally agree with that.
His movement off the ball. They got a couple layups just on miscommunication last night because they were so concerned with Steph Curry. Going forward in this series, the adjustment the Celtics are going to have to choose about, have to make a decision on is how they're guarding Steph Curry in pick and rolls.
That shot nasty.
They primarily played drop coverage. Through 3 quarters of game 1, the Warriors scored about 1.9 points per possession on those possessions. Last night in the 3rd quarter specifically, when he got it going, that was drop coverage in those pick and rolls. So if they decide to potentially blitz, if they decide to sort of have the big up in that coverage, then all of a sudden you get the backside 4-on-3 action that the Warriors are so good at. And that's where I think you can see more counting stats from some of their role players. But to your point about Klay,
I love how you put that, more counting stats, because people, again, are box score vultures. They look at the box score and determine how the game went. So he's saying if they switch that defense up, then you get more guys getting counting numbers. And that is basically how people decipher how well or not well a guy played. And so I think JJ Redick cooking, man. I got to give it to him.
Thompson,
and yeah, they got to stop doing under the screens. That's not working. You better hedge better. You better go over. You better figure something out. And that's what I mean about the Warriors know who they are defensively. Boston is kind of learning on the fly because they're young. So the Warriors can adapt quicker than they can when you got to switch up your coverages.
Absolutely has to be better throughout this series if they're going to win this series. Like, he's got to be that guy that scores efficiently, gives you 20 to 22 points a game, and he's really struggling. And give some of that credit to the Celtics defense. I think, primarily Jaylen Brown in game 1, but throughout game 2 as well, they are doing a great job of.
I don't even know if that's good defense. That's just horrible shot selection. And Klay did that all night. Just horrible shot selection, man. Like,
primarily Jaylen Brown in
look
game
at
1,
this.
but
all right. So everybody and their mama know you like to go middle, fade baseline. Everybody, you got this gym school teacher, this little ass dude. This dude looks like a goddamn gym teacher. So you're supposed to be able to post him up strong, hard. Oh, what's wrong with a post repost, Klay? So you don't have it going today. How about, because you're 6'6", this dude, like, he looks about 6'2", 6'3". He looks kind of light in the ass. How about pass to the wing,
throughout game,
pass to the wing, repost him lower, and get the shot you really want? Because it's contested, and you're out of rhythm. You're playing bad.
Game 2 as
you
well.
Shoot that bullshit.
They are doing
Front
a
rim,
great job.
Easy. That's an easy possession to defend. And again, Klay was shooting. He was shooting bad all game long. P-Rose says, I hear people talking about the refs and all that shit, but nobody's talking about the 18 turnovers and 7 of them being unforced. Exactly. And the Celtics, in fact, had 7 to start the game off. You don't come into no NBA finals and turn the ball over 7 times. And they asked Coach Udoka, they asked Coach Udoka about those. He said, yeah, man, we got to eliminate those turnovers because those kill you in games. They kill you in games, man. So, no, I don't want to hear about no goddamn referees. And y'all know my position on that. I don't blame referees, man. You can't help that. You control what you can control, and turnovers is definitely what you can control. And like you said, having so many of those being unforced,
of contesting his shots.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content.
Okay, all right. So fair use on that. So let's bring that down. So as we going forward, I got a few things now. And JJ Redick was pretty surgical. I didn't hear that segment. I saw like a little bit of it. So I gotta say he was on point. And a few points that I want to point out from the game that I saw is that Jordan Poole, man, he looks a little front runnish to me. I'm not going to pawn him off on that, but a lot of people are. I think Jordan Poole is a box score and highlight film hero. Because when I watch Jordan Poole, like really, really watch him, his decision making needs a lot of work. When he decides to take shots, because he likes taking shots off that pick and roll action. And it's like, I mean, I get it. Those things probably fall in practice, but like, dude, you got to understand the rhythm of the game, man. And to me, Jordan Poole has a problem with it. And I think that's why Steve Kerr flirts with the idea of starting him sometimes and not starting him, because he's still working on that nuance. But again, he's only 22 years old. That's kind of expected. Now, my second point from takeaway from the game is that Jason Tatum went the hell off. I think we all know that. He went for 28 and 6. But his shot selection to me was bad. Like, so meaning he made like a lot of forced shots, and that doesn't bode well for a series. unless you're Kobe Bryant and you just make your living off of taking questionable shots, which we all know that Tatum is a big pupil of the Black Mamba system. So maybe that's what he's trying to do. But his plus or minus actually was negative 36. Awful. That was awful, man. So Tatum, as good as the box score read, when I watched him play, he didn't play a good game to me. He played a better game one. Now I know that's going to fall on some deaf ears because he only had 16 points, but he had 11 assists, 12 assists, I believe. He had 12 rebounds or something to that effect. He was more efficient. This game, he was more offensive heavy. People like that, but I would, as a coach, I would take game one version over the game two version. You know, the box score reads better. Boston, like we said, too many turnovers, and we, JJ Redick encapsulate that perfect. And I said again, man, Klay played a horrible game. Klay Thompson played offensively, horrible game. And that's just kind of what I was saying about Nick Wright. Talking about, well, Klay needs to score X amount of points. No, well, Steph needs to blah, blah, blah. Like, no, they don't. They don't. Because Klay had a horrible shooting game. Let's look at the percentages. This Joker shot, Klay Thompson shot 4 for 19, 1 for 8 from 3. His plus or minus was at a 0. So, I mean, he played good defense. But that's pretty atrocious, man. 4 for 19. Steph shot 21 shots and scored 30. So Steph shot 2 more shots than him. He scored 30. Klay scored 11 points, man, on that horrible shooting percentage. So, but again, my whole point was they don't need somebody to really match Steph's scoring. The Warriors need to be the Warriors. And the Warriors' strength is literally in numbers, meaning everybody puts forward their own effort in their best way. Like JJ Redick said, mastering your role. And that's what they did. P-Rose says that Poole boy has talent, but he's boneheaded. Yes, absolutely. He's boneheaded. Because I watched him in spurts, throughout the year, but now in the playoff, as far as the finals, I'm watching every game from start to finish. I'm like, I don't see it. Like, hold on, he needs some work. Because people talking about replacing Klay with him. I'm like, as bad as Klay played, Klay had a better overall game or a better impact, let me say that, on game two. Tatum is settling way too damn much, taking sidestep contested threes. Yes, he's not taking advantage of small defenders. Klay built me a brick mansion last night. Yes, he did. Somebody said on the stream yesterday, he's building a second Oracle arena with them bricks. Marshall Nash says on the Facebook side, says Klay needs to step it up or he needs to come off the bench. Well, my question would be for who? You going to start Gary Payton too? Because Gary Payton too been solid. Gary Payton too solid. I like that kid, man. Hard nose. And he's perfect for the Warriors because this is like his 4th or 5th stop. So he's been kind of seasoned in the NBA game. I'm sure he doesn't have an ego, does he? I'm sure he doesn't go around acting like he's somebody because he's Gary Payton's son, which on that team would be, you'd be an idiot because Michael Thompson's son is Klay and Dale Curry's son is Steph. So I guess it's the perfect situation for him. You got like a cauldron of former NBA players, sons of former NBA players, and so it kind of checks your ego. So maybe that's what makes that work. I don't know. I'm just speculating. And then, so yeah, with Curry going for 29 points and then the balanced scoring, I think I read off what the bench players contributed. And I got to give Otto Porter Jr. his flowers, man. In 15 minutes, he only scored 3 points. Again, nobody's going to do backflips over there, but his plus or minus was 24, which means when he was on the court, there were no letdowns. There were no lags. Things were stayed at an efficient clip. And again, this goes into that unsung hero category that nobody will talk about. There's nobody who's going to give Otto Porter Jr. credit for this championship if they win it. But those are the kind of performances you need from your bench guys. It doesn't have to be points. It's just production, efficiency. That's what the Golden State Warriors are. And that's what will make them win. Again, Bialisa is my unsung hero game 2. He just is. He came in there with that old donut-eating body that he got, and he did his thing, man. He threw his body around. You know who he remind me of? He remind me a little bit of your boy. He played for the Spurs when he got fat. God dog it, what's his name? Boris Diaw. He looked a little Boris Diaw-ish last night, and I think that that's a great thing because nobody's going to remember any history. However, in moment, if you're really watching the game, and shout out to my guy KJ Black, coach of the Rams, he said some people watch the game and some people watch the ball. But if you watch the game, you'll see that Bob Lee said, man, he played a very key role in keeping that lead, well, changing the momentum of that league, let me say. All right. And P. Rose says, my thing is with Clay that his shot selection has been mind-boggling. It's like he's trying to prove that he's back outside game 6 in Memphis and 5 of last round. He's been abysmal offensively. Yeah, it does look like he's trying to prove that he's back. And I don't know, like sometimes you just kind of you feel the totality of a situation and you want to be above it. Maybe that's what's going on with Clay because he knows that his legacy is on the line at this point. He's 31, but you want to have these memorable moments and maybe he's trying to force greatness. But I mean, it ain't there, bro. You'll always be known as the Scottie Pippen to Steph's Michael Jordan. It is what it is, bro. Just go be the best you, man. Your fate is sealed already. So that's what I got so far, man. If anybody wants to join the panel and talk a little bit about game 2, the floor is open. The floor is open. The floor is open. You can step on here and we can talk about it, man. And so I wonder how Boston will respond. First finals game for all those young boys going over, to a home game. A lot of expectation, a lot of, the ghosts of Larry Bird and Tiny Archibald and Robert Parrish and you name them, man, are just floating around in the arena. So we'll see how Boston responds to having expectation of Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen and Paul Pierce. So we'll see how they react to having the responsibility to step up in a big game, in a pivotal game, because they did their job. If we're being honest, shout out to P. Rose. So they did their job. They stole game 1. That's all you can ask for a away team. So we'll see how they do with that. So without further ado, man, let's bring P. Rose up, man. What's up, man? What you got?
Man, I was agreeing with everything you were saying, during your review. My thing is, the game 2, what I saw last night. It was just I felt like for one, I felt like the Celtics. I felt like Jason Tatum, when I said he was settling, I was like, because there was times where he had Steph on him, and Steph 6'3", Jason Tatum like 6'7", 6'8". And I'm like, bro, like you can just like, why are you settling for like tough 3-pointers? I'm like, you could easily, if you get him in the post, like he's not gonna back you down, and like he's not gonna stop you. He's gonna give effort, but he's not gonna just stop you like that. And I felt like he was settling for okay looks instead of working his way for like good or great looks. And I was like, because he had like 21 points in the first half, 6 points in 6 points in the second half. So and you saw a lot of his misses on like sidestep threes, off balance fadeaway jumpers. And then like the 2 shots he made, he had 2 wide open threes that he made. And that was because of dribble penetration by Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart. But I'm like, he can get looks. It's just, I feel like, he needs to let the game come to him more consistently, because he'll have these games where, like he's dropping 40. And then, he'll have another game where he's like inefficient. And so my thing with him is just, we need to get more consistency because, he's a star. But to be in that superstar category, you have to be dropping in. You have to be efficient night in and night out. Absolutely. And, that's his next step. As for the rest of the Celtics team, Al Horford, Marcus Smart, everybody, who else? What's the other dude name? Really, the rest of their role.
Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, Jaylen Brown. Really, everybody else. Y'all just gotta be better. Defensively communicating. That the Warriors have shooters, and yes, Clay was building me a couple brick mansions. He was rebuilding Oracle last night. Probably build a new stadium right next to Chase Center where he was shooting. But everybody with the brain knows you do not go under them pick and rolls, especially if they set that high, because him, Jordan Poole, Clay, they can shoot those. And Steph, Steph got, it was like 3 straight possessions, first of them, Steph got 2, regular 27 footers. Okay. Easy. And then you go under a screen for a 30-footer. I'm like, man, you just asking for it. And then Jordan Poole hits 2 he hits a 35 footer and then he hits a half court bomb, and I'm like, but that's really that. I think the difference in the game, was the Warriors, although they didn't have a really efficient shooting night, they only shot 40% from the field. Their basketball IQ showed, because that's when the runs came. Because I'm looking at Tatum and I'm like, yo, like attack. They are playing you 1-on-1. They're not even doubling you.
Yeah.
Attack. And then it's rebound, and then they complaining to the rest instead of getting back in transition. And then Wiggins gets a easy layup, or Thompson got an easy layup. Kevon Looney got an easy layup. Gary Payton II got an easy layup. And shout out to Kevon Looney, because he was big in that third quarter. Offensive rebounds, defensive rebounds, hedging off of screens. Actually, taking the challenge of guarding the Celtics' two best players. But I just felt game 2 was really just an IQ game. The Warriors' IQ just was better, and they executed. And for game 3, they're gonna have to take that with them, because I know the Celtics are gonna try to bounce back, and they're gonna come out attacking game 3. But I'm excited for the rest of the series. I think it's gonna go 7. I picked the Warriors in 7, so I'm really excited about what's coming up in the future for the series.
A few key things that you hit, which I agree with wholeheartedly, was the contribution of Kevon Looney, man. Like, again, a guy who will never jump out on he'll never jump out on the screen at you as this great offensive guy, because we judge players off the offensive prowess. Let's just be honest. Kevon Looney would never be that. And again, I didn't know he was so young. I know he's only 25. So I looked at his age the other day. But the way he did that trench work for them last night, you can't pay a premium for that, man. And they're not paying a premium for it. They're paying the low for that. Those kind of things mold series. That's why JaVale McGee was so how can I put it? He was so important for their success, because JaVale was the same kind of guy. Once his career kind of went crescendo to a point where he was a role player, because I remember JaVale McGee was going to be the big man of the future. He could run the floor like a deer. He was athletic as hell. They even let him bring the ball up sometimes, like when he played for the Wizards and he played for the Nuggets. Once you took all that away, like nah, bro, you just a rim runner. Be the best rim runner you can be. Life changed for Golden State, because they didn't have to rely on Bogut, old ass, no more. They didn't have to rely on Festus Ezeli, bum ass, right? Kevon is the perfect guy, because he's groomed in his system. He knows his role. And he'll put that hard hat on, and he ain't going to talk like Draymond will talk. He ain't got nothing to say. He going to go out there and just put that work in. So those things are tantamount for a team like this to perform. And like you were saying, IQ travels on the road. And that's why I got the Warriors in 6. I had them in 5 at first, but I didn't think they would lose game 1. So I moved it back. I moved the goalpost. I got them in 6. But what I liked is that after getting embarrassed game 1, they came out still being who they are. And they locked up on defense, and they switched up their defensive strategy. And they also exploited Boston for their defensive prowess. And like I was saying earlier, the lineups, Steve Kerr did a better job with the lineups, in my opinion. I think last game, his fourth quarter early game management was horrible. That's why they lost the game. They had no business losing that game.
Yeah.
So he shored that up. And again, Jordan Poole had a good game statistically. He seems to be a little front runner.
No, he's a front. No, he's what we call raw. He's like the definition, raw talent. Still got to learn.
Yeah,
but because I remember I've been watching him when Steph and Clay was out, and they had 15 wins back in 2019, and you watching him, you saw a flash of talent and everything, but the issue was, this man was like he was like Jameis Winston on the when he was on the Buccaneers. That's what Jordan Poole was like in terms of his decision making. He would take shots, and the thing is, he was doing it in college because when he played at Michigan, he made crazy shots consistently. So he's like, well, I was making them in college. I can take them anytime I want to in the NBA. So he was taking like 30 footers and at the wrong times, 40 footers, just off balance stuff. So that's why they sent him to the G League, and you saw the improvement last year to this year. I think now what he needs to do is that he has to understand the moment a lot better. Understand that, okay, We're up. Let's say we're up to, because that was it was in the second. I forget, it was in the second quarter. I think there was like up 2. It was like right before halftime and everything, and it's a high screening roll, and Clay is coming off a pin in, and he's coming to that that mid range shot he likes to catch. He likes to catch off the wing, and he's wide open now. Clay was breaking, but it's Clay Thompson. He can make a wide open shot. But instead of that, Jordan Poole goes. He literally walks into a triple team, drives into a triple team, and then breaks the shot. And then he looks at the ref. You heard it on if you was, I don't know if you watched, if you heard it on the audio. He was like, "Hey, yo, call that shit." But I'm like, bro, you ran into a freaking double. He literally just drove into like a double team. A double team. It was like Al Horford and who the other big Williams, Robert Williams. He drove into those two trees, and I'm like, that's your fault that you got knocked down. It ain't their fault. You don't want to decide to go full force in that, but I feel like once he learns, he's gonna be fine. It's just once he learns, and I think Steph and Clay and Draymond are teaching him as he goes. But once he learns how to do that and understand the moment and gets better with his decision making, he's gonna be fine.
Yeah, it comes with nuance, and it's funny. The irony is, him shooting those deep shots in Michigan and what have you. I'm sure that was because of Steph Curry.
Yeah,
Steph Curry unlocked that ability with a lot of players just shooting long bombs instead of your traditional threes, which, I mean, I've softened up on that because normally I hate that. If you ain't Steph, I don't want to see you shooting no damn 30-footers, but if 35-footers for that matter. But I mean, whatever. If you can be proficient at that, that's kind of the new thing. It is what it is. So it's funny to see him on the team with the guy who created that shot per se, as far as being frequent in that regard. So it's funny to see that. But yeah, I think experience is going to be his best teacher. We've seen him being a guy they put into the G League program, like as you just highlighted. He's gotten a lot better, a lot more proficient, but he still lacks a little bit with his IQ game. And I gotta say, the dude is he's only 20, what?
22, 23.
Yeah, like it's going to happen. So when people saying he's going to replace Clay, I'm like, not yet.
Not yet.
He ain't there yet.
He got ways to go. Like, the thing is, the Warriors these past couple years, they've done excellent in the draft. They've done phenomenal in the draft. I think because I think they're rookies, Moses Moody and Jonathan Kuminga, who was like, Jonathan Kuminga, if he gets the skill, if he perfects his offensive skill, man, he gonna be a problem. Because I've seen him, like, he had a game earlier this year against the Bulls where he dropped 27 points in 9 minutes. And
impressive.
He was cooking. Like, he was just cooking, but like, it was just raw talent. Moses Moody, that's a football player playing that. He's a football player with a high basketball IQ. Like, just 6'5", broad shoulders, and he's not afraid. He's not afraid of a big challenge. He was like, they put him on Luka for a little bit last series. But I think he said earlier about I forgot role player Nemanja Bjelica. He had big minutes. He played well in his role last night too.
Yes, he did.
I think
he did like Boris Diaw, bro.
He do look like Boris Diaw. Like the way he played.
Yeah, everything. This is Boris Diaw.
It just like big, like fit, and like he big and physical. Now I ain't gonna lie, he do have the ugliest layup package I ever seen though. I ain't gonna even care.
Oh yes.
That's ugly to much. Nah, but the thing is, high IQ, and the thing is, like, he's a stretch four, because he can hit the outside shot.
Correct.
And because I think you put him out there and everything, and you let Steph Curry 1-1-4, and you let him, and it's a race to the rim. 90% of the time, Steph Curry's gonna win that race to the rim. And if somebody slides over, you can kick it out.
It's done. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, that's what you want. Put them on that island, man. And shout out to Ant Lerner in the building, man. Appreciate you coming through, my guy. So yeah, man, and that's kind of. I want to go back to Marshall Nash's questions as we move forward. But no, those are things that win you ball games, and that's why I made my video I made a few days ago about how Nick Wright was saying all these things need to happen. No, they don't. The Warriors need to be the Warriors, and the Warriors is, like you said, they're led through Steph Curry. So Nick had that part right, but it's not exclusively through Steph Curry at the same time. They need to be running those back screens, run those pin downs like they do, run the dribble handoff to perfection, get guys easy buckets. Because let's look at the box score one more time. Draymond Green, 9 points, 7 assists, 5 rebounds. Wiggins, 11 points, 6 rebounds. Kevon Looney, 12 points, 7 rebounds, 1 block.
Yeah.
Klay Thompson, horrible game, but 11, 2 and 3. Lisa with 6 points. Otto Porter Jr., who played a really good game too, only 3. Gary Payton Jr., the second or whatever you want to call him, 7 points, 3 assists, who played a solid game as well. And Jordan Poole with 17, like I say, front running points. But you didn't get a big contributor from one individual. You got a lot of sporadic contributions.
Yeah.
That's who they are.
Yeah.
And they don't have to be anything but that version of them.
Yeah, I think the thing what nobody's gonna talk about is like the little things that weren't noticed. Like nobody's gonna talk about the hockey assists.
Absolutely.
That nobody's gonna talk about like people like the one thing I noticed that I don't know if I really talk about like Steph Curry's ultra aggressiveness on defense and not being And I'm like, because not backing down, especially guarding, because we know he can't guard Jason Tatum like 1-on-1 and everything, but it's the effort. And like he held on like long enough, like an extra 2 or 3 seconds, which allowed Draymond to slide over and get off that back screen and everything. And it was the little things, it was the little things that what's it called? Gary Payton too in the second quarter. Batting ball out for a rebound, so gives Andrew Wiggins a second shot to get a layup, and he gets sent to the free throw line.
Mm-hmm.
So, man, like you said, Warriors. If the Warriors got to be them. There's got to be them and play, and I think they will. The Celtics, if the Celtics want to win their series, first of all, they turnovers got to the turnovers have got to stop, and at the end of the day, as much we say it, it's like it's an overused thing, but their leader, their best players are gonna have to be their best players consistently.
Mm-hmm.
Like Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, being attack, because if they're gonna play you one-on-one, look to attack. If you get double, you can kick out, and you just pray their role players can make those wide open threes. They made 20 in game 1. They made 15 in game. They made 15 last night, but they shot 15 of 37, 15 and 38, whatever it's called.
Mm-hmm.
But do what you do. Like keep playing defense, and also like communicate. And for God's sakes, don't go under the screens. Don't go, especially see, the thing is, I hope they should have. I think like every team that played the Warriors and everything, they should have a film session of the 2019 Western Conference Finals between the Blazers and the Warriors, because that's all the Blazers were doing, just going under pick and rolls.
Mm-hmm.
And you wonder why Steph averaged 37 for the series.
And for the people listening, why do they go under? You know why? Because it's easy.
It's real easy. It takes effort to show off. It takes effort to fight over. And some people are like I would rather you fight over the screen and force Steph or Clay or Jordan Poole to pass the ball and to move the ball than to just give them a warm up jump shot.
Absolutely.
Because that's what you want to do is make them work. And like you look at the man, I ain't gonna lie. This man, I'm looking at you look at the stats and everything. Nobody's gonna talk about it. So yeah, shoot, I'm looking at you. Shoot, Andrew Wiggins was a he was a plus 19 on the floor, and he only shot 33% from the field, but he made 2 out of 3 threes. He had 3 big offensive rebounds.
Mm-hmm.
Otto Porter Jr. He played 14 minutes. He only took 1 shot. That was a corner 3. But his defense, his defense and his versatility on defense, he had 3 steals. Nobody's talking about that. And he was a plus 24. He was doing fine.
I talked about him before you hopped on. Probably I was like, see, he's going to be an unsung hero in this series, and nobody's going to give him credit because they're going to look his stats up like, oh, well, you only average like 7, 2, and 2. But his impact is very high, and like you said, I pointed out as well. For him to have only 3 points, like that corner three,
that was a big corner three.
24 plus 24 on the plus or minus, man, that is huge. That's huge.
He was big, he was big and everything. GP2 plus 15. He only had, and he shot 3 for 3, 100% from the field, and he made that. Listen, he made that corner three was big because he got fouled, and he missed both free throws.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a key possession because the Celtics were playing, they was trying to get the lead and everything. Game was tied in the second quarter. It was like big momentum shift. Correct. Gary Payton misses the 3-pointer, and he misses the free throws, and he takes the corner three in front of the Celtics bench. Anybody that plays basketball, the stuff that be saying, that the opposing bench be saying, and he laced that 3-pointer, which is big. And I'm just going back, the stick backs that you saw, it was just the it's just the little things, and I think the little things is what's going to win this series. Now, I don't think that the rest of the games are going to be like blowouts like it was last night, but I think Golden State, when the moment comes, they're going to be clicking on all cylinders. And whatever Nick Wright said, I know what you said about Nick Wright and everything, but I really don't listen to him like that because he always be speaking in hyperbole instead of actuality. Yeah. So
yeah, I can't stand him. But yeah, I mean, sometimes I'll give him his credit when he right. He just was wrong as hell, and this series is proving that to be so. But yeah, my last little takeaway of this is the Celtics starters got to be better, man. You got Horford shooting 1 for 4 for 2 points. Your boy Williams 1 for 1. Now he won't get a lot of touches. He's like a rim runner guy, so you kind of got to expect that out of him. But Marcus Smart got to be better, man. 1 for 6, 0 for 3 from 3, 2 points. You're not gonna be nobody like that, man. You ain't gonna be nobody like that. So I want to address Marshall Nash's question since we're on there. Y'all hit the subscribe button, hit the like button on the stream if you haven't done so already, man. I appreciate y'all rocking with me, man. And I got P Rose. And like I told y'all last stream, I don't bring on people who just be saying some bullshit. I'm bringing on dudes who know basketball, who know what they're talking about. So I hope y'all appreciate that because I want you guys to take something from it. I'm not saying I'm some master teacher or anything like that, but I do know basketball. And I want you to take something you can use to go when you have your water cooler discussions with people. You know what the hell you're talking about. All right, so Marshall Ness says, okay, we'll round it out here because I got to do another stream for my other channel. Shout out to Wise Guys channel. That's my other stuff. I talk about manly stuff, manosphere stuff, and what have you. So if y'all have not subbed to there, do that. But Marshall Nash says on the Facebook side, who has more pressure going in game 3? I think that's a good question. We weren't when we were talking, me and P Rose was cooking, so we couldn't get to that. But more pressure. P Rose, if you want to go first, you can.
I say the Celtics, and the only reason I say this, I think, is because now after they had the game 1 win, in this game 2 class. Now it's like can your superstars can they make the requisite and the necessary adjustments to bounce back and to take control of this series? Can they win? Can they win a pivotal game 3? I also say this. Can they play solid, smart basketball for 48 minutes?
Yeah.
Because throughout the playoffs, they've had moments where oh my gosh, the defense. The media was talking about the defense. Oh my gosh, but then they've had moments where they've been lackadaisical and complacent and not fully engaged. So my thing is for the Celtics, they have the pressure because you have to prove to me. And you have to prove to everybody else and everybody else watching, can you play 48 minutes worth of basketball to beat this Warriors team? Because that's what it's going to take. It's going to take 48 minutes of solid, smart IQ, basketball to beat this team.
Agreed.
So that's really my take on that.
Agreed. Yeah. So you have to beat them in the IQ department, and that's why I picked the Warriors off rip, because this team just doesn't have the capacity to do so, in my opinion. Now they have the raw ability, yeah. And when I said if Boston wins this series, your boy Jason Tatum is gonna have to play out of his mind, like on some Kobe level stuff. And the Warriors he's gonna have to stymie them with his offensive prowess. Now, so far, he has not been able to do that, but the series is split. So, whatever's whatever. Now, Jaylen Brown stepped up, but now he kind of stepped back game 2. So I anticipate that from young guys. You're still trying to figure out your pecking order. So I think the pressure to mirror your sentiment is definitely on Boston, because the Warriors know how to win. The Warriors ain't tripping at all. Now, if they came down 0-2 with 2 losses at home, then we'd having a whole different discussion here. But they know how a series looks from all angles. They know how to be up 3-1 and lose. They know how to be 2-2, 2-1. They know all this shit. Boston is learning how to win with if we're being honest, just a rookie head coach. So those kind of things, and he's from the Popovich tree, a guy who I respect so much. With somebody from the stream told me I'm a coon because I like Greg Popovich. I'm like, man, please enter a serious basketball conversation and say Greg Popovich is not a good coach. Like you would look like you would like an asshole saying that Greg Popovich is not a great coach. And another content creator, I'll leave his name out of the stream, said that Popovich wasn't a good coach. He's just a white boy with a lot of talent. I'm just like, man, if you think that, man.
I've been on a stream where I heard that said, and I just had to leave because I just can't be around idiocy like that.
P. Rose, I can't do it, man. So I'm like, okay, if that's your take, man, good luck with that mentality. Good luck getting a serious hoop conversation with anybody. I've had Malik Rose on this channel, so I would love for you to tell Malik Rose that Greg Popovich wasn't a great coach, because he would eviscerate you. So I mean, it is what it is, man. YouTube game is wild. But Mo says, yes, indeed, Hoop Jargon, more realistic basketball takes here than Nick Rome's predictions. I'm just saying, man.
Did you hear what he said this morning?
No, I didn't. Please enlighten me.
This man said he's deeply concerned about the Warriors after they basically he's more concerned than he was after game 1 because Steph, because he feels Steph has to carry way too much of a load. I'm like,
oh my god.
And then Chris Broussard is like he's like Nick, you just might as well just switch your pick to the Celtics. And he's like, Nick is like, I think I might do that. And I'm like, and
stop faking the funk, dude. Just say what you about, man. Mean what you say.
I mean, because I was like, the thing is, he has his own podcast because all these Fox sports pundits, they got their own podcast now. Yeah. So I was watching his podcast and everything, and he said for the Warriors to win this series, this man said like Steph is gonna have to average dang near 40 for them to have a chance to win this series. I know.
I put this on my channel 2 days ago when he said this bullshit. Oh, it's been said over here. It's been acknowledged, rather.
I was like,
it's been acknowledged, my guy.
I'm like, I was like the way it's like. I'm like, listen. I was like the way the way the Celtics have been like, outside of the fourth quarter of game 1, the way the Celtics have been looking like if Steph even tries to attempt to go for 40, I mean, shoot, that would be a sweep, a 5-game series. But he the thing is like I think people, because I'm looking at him and other people that they try to nitpick at Steph Curry, and I'm like, they just mad because he's literally just playing within the concepts of the system. Mm-hmm. He's not doing too much. He's not forcing really thing. He's letting the game game 2 like last night. That was the way it felt. It felt like one of them regular season games that you see from the Warriors. Not on a majority of time. Game close at halftime. They blow it out. They blow it open and everything. Stuff. Not a particularly phenomenal game, but 29 points, 14 in the third, and he didn't even play the whole fourth quarter, so he got extra rest. So it's that's typical. But the thing is, if you look at everything was in the system. Everything was just in the flow of the offense. And that's what, that's what's beautiful about, the Warriors offense. It's, it's unselfish. Mm-hmm. It's, IQ oriented, and they're always their mindset is look for the next grace, the best look. always look for the best shot. Whether it's inside, outside, on the wing and everything. That's what I respect about their offense and everything. And they've cultivated to a point where it is, it's second nature to them.
Absolutely. And let me play this. So this is my video from earlier this week, talking about Nick Wright and his fuckery. So let's, without further ado, let's listen to what I posted just earlier this week. Well, last week.
It's game 1 tonight out in San Francisco. These two teams facing each other in the finals.
Let me see if I can
Since
fast forward a little bit.
1960.
Average what, like 25 last series? Let me see what I said.
Look, Nick. Look, everyone wants to have a big game on the big stage, but does Steph Curry need to have his best finals performance for the Warriors to win this title?
I'm gonna say last series showed absolutely not. You don't have to have Steph going off. He's averaged what, like 25 last series? Absolutely not. But let's see what Nick Wright says.
Absolutely.
Shocker. Shocker, because he only knows basketball through numbers. So you thinking, again, that's the way he thinks sports, is with these gaudy numbers and narratives. He doesn't think what actual basketball is. But and that's kind of what I laid out, man, P. Rose, about Nick Wright, is that he just thinks in extremes. Like key points is how he thinks basketball. And you can tell he didn't play like that. When reality is, Steph, like you just point out, averaging 32 points a game, he's having a good series. They're not winning because of Steph per se. They're winning. The game they won was a team effort, and I'm gonna lay out why Nick Wright is so wrong. So, but just bear with me for a minute or so. Let me shut up.
And I think he will. Listen, I think right now the Warriors' overall offense is slightly overrated by the general public. Jordan Poole has cooled off considerably.
They don't need him to be a scorer like that, dude. I said that last week. Did Jordan Poole blow the doors off scoring last night, P. Rose?
No, he only had 17 points and like 6 of 14 shooting.
Okay. All right. Do you not learn your lesson from last series?
After the hot start to the playoffs, he's 14 points per game over his last 7 playoff games. Klay Thompson.
He's your 5th best player. What is wrong with that?
Is averaging 1.
Am I lying, P. Rose?
you preaching.
Really good game, a series.
That's all they need from the team like that. Smart guy.
This postseason. Draymond Green, here's a fun stat, Brew. The last time Draymond Green, who, by the way, has scored, let me just check, more than 10 points twice in the last 2 rounds. The last time Draymond Green scored more than 21 points in a playoff game was the Game 7 against the Cavs in 2016.
P. Rose, how many points did Draymond Green score last night?
9.
Let's keep going. Guess what? They don't need him to score like that, genius. They don't need Draymond Green to score. They need him to facilitate and defend. And everything they get on top of that is cake.
So where's the offense coming from? And Kevon Looney against this Celtics front line is not going to look like a modern-day Mark Eaton the way he did against the Mavericks. So where...
If you want to make that reference, he looked mighty goddamn Mark Eaters this series so far. Would you not agree?
Yeah, he had 12 rebounds last night.
Yeah. What are we talking about, man? Let's keep going. I just wanted to just say, man, my words don't change. My opinions don't change. This is up against a guy who is considered to be a guru in the basketball community, as it were. So let's just keep going.
Where's the offense coming from, Brew? The answer is Steph Curry. I think Steph Curry has to have his best finals, and I think he will have his best finals. I think we have seen.
Now listen, man, I'm not saying Steph don't need to step up and do his thing, but this goes into my theory of saying already that they've been playing with their food ready for this being the apex. That's what you just said, playing with their food. Just kind of punching, jabbing, not really trying to knock nobody out just yet. That's what the Warriors have been doing so far.
Yeah.
Their season. So I expect Steph to step up. I'm not absolving him from having to do that. But what I've always preached is that that's not how the Warriors are. They're not all offensive busts. They don't need these gaudy numbers from their guys. They just need organic play flow. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if Otto Porter stepped up and did his thing this series. I wouldn't be. So far, he's been doing that. Surprised if your boy Wiggins stepped up and blew up this series. Because so far, he's been doing that. That's how they play. They go off what you give them. They dance to the music. And guys like this who never played basketball, they don't understand that. They just go like, well, the numbers got to match up here because the average is 120 points a game, and so who's going to score the 120 point game? Well, hell, Kevon Looney can have a crazy 20-point game one game. As we saw, he had that game 5 finish with 10 points, 18 rebounds, and I'm sure nobody pegged him for that before the series, right? Or before that game, for that matter. That's just what happens with organic basketball. You get results based on the production, and it doesn't always have to match up with this narrative you got in your mind.
Steph in the most recent finals averaged 30 or close to 30 a game.
And I'm gonna go back a little bit, P. Rose. He was talking about how what he's saying makes sense because before they played the Mavericks, he's gonna lay out how the Warriors are to beat the Mavericks. So it just shows you the inconsistency of his logic.
Oh, he picked the Mavs in 5. I forgot about that.
Oh, yes, sir, he did.
I was like, how about this?
Hey, I'm about to kill this dude, man, because he's easily killable. So peep this. That was a hell of a quote. Say, man, leave Bron out just to carry hell out. Just
you go Looney, then you have 2 guys that do not need to.
Hold on. I want to go to the front. It's funny you say that because this dude's an idiot, man.
3 out of 4 times this year.
This dude's an idiot. I got that B. Because when I made this video, I wanted to lay it out succinctly. Like, this dude does this all the time, and then he just goes to the next take like it never happened.
I mean, I'm like, oh no. He said, I heard him say that 3 out of 4 thing. Denver beat the Warriors 3 out of 4 times this year. Memphis beat the Warriors 3 out of 4 times this year. I mean, like, if we be in, let's just say, like, I'm looking at because of the games where let's say I think one of the games against Memphis and one I think all those like they all played when they played Memphis, Denver, and what's it called in Dallas. There was one of the games where they didn't have Steph. 2 of the games where they didn't have Clay. I mean, but nobody gonna talk about the one game that they beat them. That they beat each of the teams. They blew them out. They blew them out by 30 apiece.
Correct.
So I mean, but he can have I'm gonna let him be him. He can be. Let him attempt to be great.
Yeah, he's attempting. I'm gonna put this on 1.5 more. I think that'll keep this stream from getting stricken because boy, YouTube be out here tripping, man. Let me see if that information. The dude was wrong on every talking point. So again, it's not the fact that you're wrong about the prediction; it's the logic. That just makes no sense, man. And that's the thing, man. On this channel, guys, I don't attack persons. I attack your logic. If your logic is not succinct, I'm going to get on your ass. Now, I may call you a name or two, but it's more in the spirit of me getting frustrated at you because I called him a herb and I call him a nerd on this stream because he is. But you just start saying too many egregious things, and I get a little incensed. But so let me go. Chris Proof in the building says, "Yo, what up, what up, what up?" Logan says, "Remember us when we famous, man." I'm trying, dog. I got y'all, man. Chris Burton says, "As we can see, Roger Mayweather voice. Most people know shit about basketball." There you go. There you go. There you go. Let's keep going with this horrible. Let me hear y'all, Nick. What's your reason?
Terrible matchup for Golden State. I'll tell you, I bet you Golden State, home court be damned, was rooting for Phoenix. They watched Dallas beat them 3 out of 4.
You see what I'm saying, man?
Hey, oh my god! See, this is why I don't. This is like, the only time I see Nick Wright is on YouTube. I don't watch that show. I purposely wake up at 7:30 just so I miss like the good majority of that show.
Yeah, fuck him. I'm sorry. I mean it.
No, it's not even. It's not. Listen, like the thing is, it was all set. Like they had, cause like even like I saw, man. I was watching the press conference before the series started. I'm looking at. I am not like this man. Steph was grinning the whole. This man. It was like it was like it was like he was saying, "Oh man, this is gonna be a piece of cake."
Yeah.
And I'm like, because I'm looking at the, you look at the game and everything. You look at the game and everything. You watching them, like, and they said, "Oh yeah, well the Mavericks, they're gonna win the next couple," and you just see like they look like it was like they didn't look like they belonged on the same court.
Mm-hmm.
But
beat this though. Watch, he gonna dig the ditch, and it's gonna be exactly what you're talking about right now. Just this is gonna be hilarious. little segment right here of a minute span. Go ahead, though. I'll let you finish your thought.
Nah, man, I gotta hear this.
Yeah, man. This is great. This is great, man. Again, man, y'all hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if y'all like the content, man. I like to just show basketball as basketball is meant to be shown, man. And I get it, man. If I get 1,000 people, 5 people, y'all all matter because the word got to get out. The word from the Bible, that is the basketball Bible, need to get out. You got to run out these herbs who try to tell you what basketball is, who never played basketball like that, or they didn't study it properly.
Matchup for Golden State. I'll tell you, I bet you Golden State, home court be damned, was rooting for Phoenix. They watched Dallas beat them 3 out of 4 times this year.
Oh, I got to say this. I got to keep stopping them. Everybody knows Golden State plays with their food, man. Everybody knows me. Y'all got to make me sound like a Golden State fan. I'm really not. But I appreciate good basketball. I just do. They play basketball the right way. So to you to relegate your commentary off regular season results, you know the teams with a pedigree like this, you know they know how to turn it on. You know they sleepwalking through the season. Like, come on, man.
They watched Steph. Steph's single worst opponent this season was Dallas. Steph against Dallas this year, 20 points on 39% from the field, 29% from 3, and so physically beaten down. Steph Curry.
Who the hell brings up 3-point percentage when you're talking about a series?
Series.
Lord have mercy.
Lord, wait. So they gonna talk about how he averaged 21 points, 21 points against the Kings? But I'm
Come
like,
on, man.
Right. And the Kings in the lottery. So the shit.
What are you saying? What are you saying, man? Maybe they don't take them serious. Did you ever make room for that? Let's keep going.
67% from the free throw line in 4 games against Dallas this year.
Funny you say that because your Lord and Savior, LeBron James, does that all the time, shooting 60%, 69% and lower from the free throw line. And you just omit that all the good old time. So that's hilarious that you're using that as a talking point.
The problem for the Warriors, and the reason this matchup is so awful, is they're not going to be able to hunt Luka because Luka will have his choice of who he wants to guard. I personally would have Luka guard Clay. You might say Nick Clay, he's a big-time scorer. Yeah, but he doesn't dribble the basketball. So Luka, be out there in space, use your length. If not, guard Draymond. If not, throw him on Looney if you want to. You can say Nick, Draymond, and Looney on the court at the same time. Here's the problem for Golden State Wilds. Their 5th guy is
now, just look at Wild's face while Nick Wright is talking.
Cripple them.
He's like, bro, you finished? Even your coworkers know you on some bullshit. Lord have mercy.
In this series, no matter which 5th guy they go with. So you're going to go Steph, Clay, Poole, Draymond as your crunch time 4. Who's your 5th? If you go Looney, then you have 2 guys that do not need to be guarded on offense in Draymond and Kevon Looney. If you go Wiggins, then your only rim defender, Draymond, is also the only guy who has any shot of being able to guard Luka, and he will draw him away from the basket. Jordan Poole, we have seen.
Now he's about to really step into a big old pile of doo-doo because, as you see, I'm not mad at him trying to decipher what the exploitations are in the series. I'm not mad at him trying. He's just wrong as hell on every time. Nah, you can't tell me I destroy this man, dog.
Oh man,
I ain't mad at the attempt, bro. He's wrong. He's wrong.
He tried to explain, and he tried to say Luka. Oh, Luka didn't play a lick of defense, man.
Come on, man.
This man was. Oh,
he be trying, man. And shout out to NCCU Dog 98 says Nick Wright goes hard at anyone or any team that has put LeBron in his place, of course, because he's using it as leverage to have a talking point, of course. Laughing, oh, yeah, that's a hell of a quote. Say, man, leave LeBron out just to carry hell out. Just saying, though, man, he won't apply the same thing to his Lord and Savior. So it's funny. This dude makes 0 sense. Exactly. He needs to play middle school. I doubt he even played that, to be honest. A lot of these dudes, man, let me say this. Having covered the NFL more than the NBA, these dudes who are in these workrooms, who cover these sports, these dudes are, you can tell they ain't got athletic bone in their body, dog. You can just tell. So he's not so different than all the rest that are out there, even the smaller ones. All these dudes are nerds. Not all, but a lot of them, they are nerds, man. I stand on that shit. Bro, covering the draft, covering the Super Bowl, nerds. Revenge of the nerds. These dudes are nerds, bro.
Don't get me started on him in football because like football's my sport. Like I love football. Like,
yeah.
Don't some of the stuff he said. Like I thought he needed to be drug tested.
Bro, I promise you, man. Anybody off the street can do sports reporting for a major network if you just know who to talk to. I see women in there who they ain't play a single sport in their life. And they're hella attractive too. So it's funny. You got these nerds, middle-aged to old guys, and these attractive women who make up sports reporting. So again, I covered the NFL draft in Vegas in the draft room. Y'all check my channel. I put out exclusive shit with your boy Hutchinson, your boy Jordan Davis, Forget the receiver from Bama and the kid from Last Chance U. I'm in the room with these motherfuckers. So I see the people who cover these people. You go back to the NFL freaking Super Bowl. I'm in the room with all this shit that's going on. I'm in the room talking to Marcus Trufant, talking to what's the D'Angelo Williams. CeeDee Lamb, we tried to get him, but CeeDee Lamb was kind of in and out. He was on his PR thing. Same thing with Dak Prescott. Same thing with Micah Parsons. So you couldn't really sit them down. I almost got Rob Parker to come on the show. I ain't gonna lie. I just was being a weak. But he was right there doing because what they do is the big personality guys who do radio, they'll come out to the smaller people and they'll sit down for 10 minutes or so with you. That's how I got Demetria Oberlaur on my channel. She did like 20 minutes sitting down with us because she just was working the room. Everybody looking at her because y'all Google on your own time. You'll see
research purposes only.
Research purposes. But she gave us 20 minutes of her time because we just had that organic flow at our table. But I'm saying this because I see all that, like I just said, the attractive women, the nerds, older guys. That's what these dudes are. And so people just, revere them so much. But when you just kind of undress them and just size them up man for man, they ain't shit. So you can challenge them on their points. You really can. You really can challenge. We had Todd Gurley come sit down with us, man. Like we some independent media guys, right? So I don't respect when a dude, just because a big brand is backing you, I don't just give you. You don't lord over conventional thinking just because you got the network behind you. That don't mean shit to me. But let me go forward. The nerds. Dubai says. The face of the guy says it all. Exactly. He's like, man, Herbert fans, man. Exactly.
The Warriors beaten by people hunting Steph. Steph is not the guy they're going to try to hunt. Jordan Poole's going to need to average 25 a game.
You still just be talking, bro.
Hold on. Jordan Poole averaged like 12 points that series.
Exactly. And I pulled it up, too, to call this. Receipts. I'm thorough with mine. So this is your man's here. Your man say Jordan Poole has to average 25. 25, right? For them to win this series. Let's go to the actual. I'm gonna come back to that. Let's pull these receipts up. P. Rose, I don't play with him. P. Rose, I don't play with him when they won the series. Let's see if Jordan Poole came anywhere close to this great prediction. So in 5 games, the infinite wisdom of Nick Wright said he has to score 25 a game. Jordan Poole scored 16.4 points a game, good enough for the 4th highest score on the team. So in his opinion, Steph had to go off because Steph wasn't gonna get that freedom, and then Jordan Poole had to just play out his mind. He did not, because this team plays as a team. When you play as a team, you don't need gaudy stats. Because they come, ready for the word, organically. When your points come organically, you don't need gaudy stats. You need organic basketball play. Meaning, in moment, anybody can go off because you play basketball the right way. That's what happens in those scenarios. And people get so caught up in these numbers, and you don't understand that basketball has an organic flow to it. And when you play at a very high level, you put yourself in position to win games, and you don't need gaudy stats. Let me let him finish his bullshit.
Out and torture him. The way what I said, Joe is doing unfairly to Luka. That's what Jordan Poole's about to deal with. And by the way, his offense has fallen off a cliff the last 3 games anyway, because contrary to the opening of the playoffs, Jordan Poole is not already a top 20 player in this league.
But that's the thing, though. They don't need him to be that. You got 3 guys on the team betting him. Arguably Wiggins, almost 4 guys betting him. He doesn't have to be that. Y'all just get so enraptured when guys put these good games together. And in my opinion, that's why all of y'all say these guys are superstars too quick. Because when you put a string of good games together, you hold these guys to next level standards. When they just basketball, man, the best thing I ever heard about basketball is a game of runs. It's a game of runs, man, and some people can run longer than others. And so when you act like Jordan Poole is the next coming on the team, you're just being disingenuous. You're being disingenuous, man.
It's a brutal matchup for Golden State. They're going to need Steph.
Brutal matchup for Golden State. I'm done. I'm done. A brutal matchup when you gentlemen swept them. Okay, sure, Nick. Right? Whatever you say, bro.
Like the fact that the crazy thing is, the game that they lost in Dallas, game 4. The weird thing is, I had if they could should the Warriors almost came back and won that game, and they weren't even trying.
Come on, man.
You talk about this man because we were. I think I know because I had that because I was watching that game and everything, and people. The Mavs had let their starters in, and Golden State basically emptied their bench. They emptied their bench, and this is, and people were saying, and Nick Wright was like, the series is not over yet. The Mavs could win Game 5 in Golden State, and because he's like, oh well, the Warriors didn't do this. They didn't come around, they didn't play well, like. The game. So yeah, the Mavericks. People forget the Mavericks is up in that third quarter in Game 4. They was up. What's it called? They was up 20. No, they was up 90 to 6. They was up like 90 to 60, 90 to 69 at the end of the third quarter. And then at one point, like at the one point in the fourth quarter, they was up like 29 and everything. So, yeah. So yeah, literally, it was Jordan Poole, Lee, Kuminga, and the other rookies and everything. They literally cut the lead down to 8. And if it was me, if I was Coach Kerr, I would let the reserves finish the games. If that was me, I would have let the reserves finish the game because it would have been funny. It would have been funny if they had came back with the reserves though. That's what I'd be saying. But I'm like, this man Nick Wright, he's something else, man. He's something else. He's another level of delusional.
Yeah, that's a great way to put a stamp on that. He's just delusional. And I like to, again, on my channel, man, I want to show you that my takes are not. I'm not biased. Well, everybody has some bias in them, so I'm not going to say that. But I try to back my words up with product. And when I was going in on Nick Wright, I'm using his own logic against him. Because I get it, when you're that high up, you got a lot of obligations. You got your work life, you got your home life, and you're this media personality. So you basically mean a lot to a lot of people. So I know they be tripping. And I said this in the same stream that Stephen A. Smith been caught with his pants down before. Stephen A. Smith was talking about a Chargers game, naming dudes who's on the injury reserve list. Talking about going to be impact players for the game.
That's not the first. It has.
Go ahead, P-Roll. I'm sorry.
I know. I seen Stephen A. messed up. I've seen Shannon Sharp mess up. We've heard Skip Bayless say the darndest things of all time. But with Nick, like he doesn't. Okay, for like when he's wrong, and a lot of the times he's wrong. Hence the name Nick Wrong, because he's rarely right. But like when he's wrong, like this man does so much backtracking. And he literally tries to be he tries to Captain Save-A-Ho his horrible points. Like it's like, bro, if you're wrong, you're wrong. And then like the one time he was right because he picked the Mavs to beat the Suns in 7. This man was talking all that shit to Chris Broussard and Kevin Wiles, and he was going on Colin Cowherd's podcast and said, he's like the Mavs could have been the best team in the league, if they had a better start off. Well, I'm like, it's like Golden State could have been the number 1 seed too had they stayed healthy. But it is what it is. And the thing is, you were right. He doesn't. He's a number strict guy and everything. Like, and when he said his whole LeBron arguments to go and everything. Like it's easy to debunk him, because if you talk to him like in basketball terms, like forget numbers, if you talk to him like specifically just in basketball terms, I've seen it. He's been embarrassed on live TV on numerous occasions. Like he's like when I tell people, I was like when I tell him like he don't know basketball and everything. And I was like, just because you know numbers, just because you can calculate statistics and everything, if you don't know what's going on in the game, like if I asked him, the thing is, the weird thing is, he didn't know what a pin-in was until like 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, and it makes me wonder, like, how the hell is this dude on TV talking, getting paid? Well, tell you, I ain't gonna bash your brother, man, making $3.5 million a year. Good for him, taking care of his family. But why the hell are you getting paid? Millions of dollars to spew bullshit on national TV daily.
There you go. I'm gonna bring Chris Burton up, man. You want to join the discussion, bro? What you got, man?
I just jumped in. Like, what's the discussion about?
Yeah, we talking about. Well, we kind of pivoted towards Nick Wright and his wrong takes, and I kind of was laying out. Yeah, man. So we talk about the Warrior series. So anything you want to chime in on?
Nick is gonna make at least one wrong take about once a month, and that might be a low estimate.
Yeah, it might be once a week.
once at least 1 to 2 every 2 weeks. Man, he's not on Skip Bayless level yet, but he is creeping towards that level.
Yeah.
The Warriors, they did a great job yesterday moving the ball because everybody know with the Celtics, you can't hold the ball too long and play ISO with the Celtics because as soon as they set their defense, that's it. But they moved the ball pretty well yesterday, although they do need to do better with them layups. They missed too many layups in that first quarter.
Yeah.
The third quarters have been tremendous so far. Boston got to do better coming out of halftime because that third quarters have not been good.
Yeah, and that happens to be Golden State's like that's their hallmark time. It's like that third quarter is when they turn up. So, Coach Udoka, who everybody's kind of asperging a lot of praise for, he's gonna as a new coach, he's gonna have to find a way to circumvent that so that won't be the case because you just can't keep giving those up for guys who won 4 championships already.
Yep, three championships.
3. So they know what's up. They've been to 6 finals in 8 years or something to that effect. Yeah. They know what the hell they're doing. They know what the hell they're doing. So yeah, you're gonna have to shore that up, man.
Yep. Game 3 is important, very important. Boston they can't lose home court advantage.
Because they stole it. So, but what you think though? You think what's going through the heads of the Boston Celtics, young team playing against the Warriors, who've been a dynastic for the last almost decade? What do you think is going through their head?
They just gotta come out better every day. And you can't have situations where Tatum has a good game and Brown doesn't shoot up. And Brown, I wish he stopped shooting all them damn threes. That got ridiculous.
I want Tatum to stop shooting all them damn threes. That damn sidestep 3 shit that he was doing. Like, dog. I watched enough of that with Kobe, dog. I love Kobe like cook food, man. Kobe's my favorite player of all time. But sometimes Kobe shoot that shit up like, God damn it, man.
It's like you got him and the thing is because people forget. I think Jaylen Brown he worked out with T-Mac when he was younger. He's done workouts with T-Mac, so my thing is with them two. I'm like, y'all are elite. Y'all are becoming elite wing defenders, and y'all are growing into superstars. Y'all stars right now, but y'all are growing into superstars. My thing is, don't let the Warriors, their perimeter, don't let if you get a switch on on a Jordan Poole or a Steph Curry, don't let them off the hook. Take advantage of it. And if you get double teamed, like Jaylen Brown, this man, he got double teamed. I'm like, I know your people miss it, but don't do a pirouette and force up a bad shot and let the Warriors get out on the break, because as soon as if they get on the break, them Splash Brothers running to the corner. Or if they got Wiggins running down, Wiggins go run to the rim and slam dunk GP2 and Looney. You just you are giving them if you the only way I see the Celtics winning. I think Hoop Dragon said earlier. Oh no, Jason Tatum got to play out of his goddamn mind. He has got to ball out because in terms of IQ, they're not gonna outsmart Golden State for 48 minutes. If Golden State get and Golden State, it's rare that this happens. If they get their foot on your neck, they're gonna stomp you out. They are gonna stomp you out. They don't take no prisoners.
I can't let you get away with saying pirouette. So for those who don't know, that means a spin. So your boy P. Rose broke the vocabulary out on this one. He said the pirouette. I'll check you out, man, with the vocab. Holy shit. But yeah, so
also Celtics protect the ball. Protect the ball, because they coughed it up like crazy yesterday.
7 in the first quarter, man. So they set the tone.
You can't do that against the Warriors.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Absolutely. them covered it up all the time. Kept the Warriors to get that lead, because the Warriors gift wrapped them with all them missed layups.
Yeah. That's true, and you got to understand all these things. Again, as a young team with a lot of fervor, you got the moxie, all that's no problem. But the problem is when you go up against a team like the Warriors, who they've seen it all. Like we talked about, I don't know, Chris, if you were listening at the time, but these dudes been down 3-1, been down 0-2, been down 2-2. Like, I mean, tied 2-2. Like they know that it's almost like a series. It literally is it's a conglomeration of a lot of small battles to win a war. Is what winning a series is. And they're battle tested. They just are. They know, like, okay, you don't get too up, you don't get too down. Oh, we lost game 1 at home. All right, that's fucked up, but okay. Let's put this in a vacuum. We got to win 4 games. They got to win 3. Just keep it in, like, and so football coaches do this real well, actually. Football coaches will tell you that they got to win every quarter. That's how you win a football game. Win every quarter. In basketball, it's a little harder to match that up because the pace is so frenetic, it's so up and down. It's kind of hard to be in moment. But football, you got these plays, the stoppage. Most people understand you win every quarter, you win the football game. In a series, you win every little patch. And it may not be a two-game spurt. You win the 1-2 matchup, the 1-2 matchup, the 1-2 matchup, and then if you need a game 7, you got a game 7. That's what good teams know, and that's what they understand. Younger teams are just trying to kind of more or less fight for their life, and that may not lead to you being in a position to be the team that just knows, been there, and they're not bothered by things that may bother them as far as like the momentum shifting back and forward. So I think Boston needs to, well, they won't because that comes with time and experience. But unless Tatum just, again, plays his ass off, I wonder how they will recover from that big deficiency of experience and what have you.
Yeah, because Steve Kerr is gonna have his guys focused.
Absolutely. He better. And you know what's funny, Chris? The Warriors are old, but they ain't that damn old. Steph Curry, 33. Yeah. Draymond, 31. Klay, 31. Jordan Poole's 22. Andrew Wiggins is 26. Kevon Looney's 25. They ain't that damn old. So that's scary,
the
too.
only one really over 30 is the Steph, Draymond, Klay, and Iggy.
Yeah. Iggy's the oldest player on the team. He 37. He's 37.
He's
Steph
like 40,
is 34.
45 or something like that. 45,000 years old.
Yeah, Steph turned 34. Yeah, Steph turned 34 back in March. Klay is 30. Klay is 32. Draymond is
33. He turned 33.
No, Steph is.
He's 34. He's 34. He turned 30. Yeah.
I just saw on Basketball Reference. Okay, maybe they lied to me. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Bob Myers did his thing building around that same core 3. Draymond, Steph, Klay. He's built around them same 3 guys.
Yeah. He's 34. He was born in 1988.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's how my girl is. So yeah, that makes sense. All right. Iggy had knee.
And this ain't nothing. Wait till Wiseman get back.
And I was gonna say that earlier. Yes, great point. Wiseman not even a part of this shit. These dudes gonna be scary, man.
Yeah, they got. Yeah, I was like, they got the window, and I'm like, no, it's like, and I told you about like the rookies they got. Jonathan Kuminga. I've been telling people don't believe me. I'm like, the dude is if the dude can masters because I think Draymond gonna work with them this summer. He's 6'9". He can defend 1 through 5. He's athletic enough to do that. And offensively, he has handles, he has hops, he can shoot the mid-range, and he can shoot the 3 at a decent enough clip to be a threat, to be a 3-level score threat. And he's literally, and they what they describing him as, like Steph Curry, he just said, oh, that's just complete raw talent. And the reason they got him with the 12th pick because they had 2 lottery picks last year.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's crazy, man. Like, you're right. Bob Myers been doing a phenomenal job. And I forgot they got the 28th pick this year in this year's draft. And there's a couple You know, there's a couple late first rounders that they could get, they could add, you know, that they could add to that roster to deepen their rotation.
Yeah. Agreed, man. And it's a beautiful thing to watch good teams do it the right way. Again, I don't have to be a fan per se of your team, but I appreciate what you do. And I gotta say, the Warriors do it the right way because, again, we're talking about a team in the finals with who could potentially be their best player the next 3-4 years. He's not even a part of this discussion. That's crazy. The guy you spent the number 2 pick on in the draft is not even available to play. Like, so it just shows you, man, the luxury that you have and the level that you're at. Again, with Steph being 34, 31, and 31 with as far as your core, I think Steph will be on his decline around 36 is when, you'll definitely see a different version of him. 36 is usually the number. We saw that with LeBron.
And that don't include Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole can start on a whole bunch of teams.
Come on, he's 22 years old, man. So, yeah, you're right. So I think people got to take all that stuff into account because that's a very damning reality that Golden State has to deal with. That not only are they on the highest level from organic building, they are rebuilding as it's going. So they damn near look like my Houston Astros because we got Carlos Correa left. We got somebody, Keiko, the pitcher left. But we steady kept building. We're still at the top of the National or the American League right now, the American League West. We're still at the top. When we allegedly was cheaters, well, we did cheat, but we still kept forming that talent. I mean, exactly. Like, so when Yankees fans,
they just didn't do a good job of it.
There you go. And you start complaining about cheating. I'm like, tell me more about having the biggest budget where you just buying motherfuckers year after year. Get out of here. Like Dodger fans, I live in LA. Dodger fans hate the Astros. I'm like, well, listen, buddy. Y'all go tell me more about how y'all got Mookie Betts. You went and just bought him from the Red Sox. We don't have that luxury, man. Get out of here. I ain't trying to hear that shit. You had Darvish. He didn't work out. It's not our problem. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all have an infinite budget. Talking about some cheating. Get out of here.
Nah, it's not their fault that they spend all that money on players, but they literally keep consistently coming up small in the playoffs.
Exactly. Not my problem. Not my damn problem, bro. But
said if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Hey, straight up. Still a sign of part of baseball. And you know what? I hate to pivot, but that's what like Nick Saban was having that sour grapes about Deion Sanders talking about, insinuating that him getting players, he was cheating. I'm like, oh really, sir? You with this this what they call them boosters who go and quote unquote pay guys to come to your school in a roundabout fashion. Like, come on, let's be for real, man.
Oh man, no. Oh, see, the thing is, nobody's gonna talk about how when Nick Saban got to Alabama, he started gray shirting players. So players that like he basically, because people forget his first couple years, like he wasn't really his first couple years, he wasn't really concerned about recruiting. He wanted to win, like he wanted to win immediately. So 2007, he played. After that year. After 2007, they went like 6-5 and everything. He basically got rid of those players that from that team, and he got boosters in to basically bring in any players that's from the around the surrounding areas of Alabama. And then he had like the 15th biggest recruiting class, and that recruiting class they got to the SEC championship that year, but they got blasted by Tim Tebow, Florida. And then the next year, he kept that where he didn't recruit that much out there. Now, yeah, he's a good coach. They went from like 6-5 and going there to winning the SEC, going undefeated, and then they won their first national championship the next year against Texas. Now, what people forget is that Alabama, he started building his brand and everything because Alabama had boosters and everything. Mm-hmm. Now over the last couple of years, the NIL. With NIL being introduced last year and everything, Texas A&M got the number 1 recruiting class. But the thing is, not only do they have boosters, a lot of their boosters, they're in line with those oil fields that are in Texas. Oil go in, so they got more money. And Nick Saban's just mad because
you go to Texas A&M, you don't make pro. You try to get a job in Texas. You get a job within 5 minutes.
Yeah.
All you need is a hiring manager to be an Aggie. Oh, you're an Aggie? Oh, you hired.
Yeah.
Straight
Yeah,
up.
nah.
And I went to Prairie View, which is the sister school to Texas A&M, and we found the same year in 1876. Same shit, damn near, with Prairie View. Like A&M alumni know Prairie View. So yeah, even the black school, quote unquote, you still got that type of leg up in being that A&M system. So yeah, you absolutely right, Chris.
No, it's like because like the thing, like it's not like because the thing is, it was not like I don't know what it's like. It's not cheating if it's legal. So
Damn right.
it's not cheap. Like you okay. So I mean, like people mad because USC gave they gave a wide receiver they got a wide receiver to transfer from Pittsburgh, and they gave him a $4.5 million NIL deal. I'm like, but you have but y'all want, but then y'all said y'all wanted parity, y'all wanted more teams other than the SEC, to get more, get more opportunity. I'm like, it's not the players. So the players are going. They trying to do what's best for them. At the end of the day, y'all make money off these players and everything. They just trying to do so. Don't blame the players for making decisions best for them. Y'all the one that made the rules. Y'all the ones, the NCAA, they the one that voted on it to have it. So y'all will have to reap the consequences of it. And Nick Saban, and now if I'm being, it don't take away from him as a coach. And I'm like, yes, you got players, but like he's coached, like everybody reveres him as a coach. So it wouldn't surprise me if they wind up back in the college football playoff again this year, because they're not gonna have Alabama fall off like that. But for him to say, "Oh, he did this," and Jackson State, paid $1 million to get Travis Hunter.
So what?
I'm like, listen.
Travis Hunter spook people.
I mean, he was going to Florida. Like Primetime got him from his alma mater because he was literally dead set on going to Florida State.
Facts.
People forget Primetime went to Florida State.
Mm-hmm. If people burn Deion jersey after that.
Yeah, I was like,
weirdos.
Weirdly, and I'm like, and then you talk about HBCUs and everything. You see Hugh Jackson at Grambling. I actually got I go to the college I go to. We were in the same conference as TSU, so I got to see Eddie George last year. I got to see I got to see.
You go to the SWAC school?
Huh?
You go to the SWAC school?
No, he's talking about Tennessee State.
Tennessee State.
Oh, okay, got you.
It's because TSU's there. They're in the OVC. Well, I go to Austin P. I go to Austin P. in Clarksville, Tennessee.
So TSU to me is Texas Southern, but I got you. Go ahead.
Yeah, Tennessee State. Yeah, so I got to see him and everything, and like Tennessee State football program, like they were. Like before Eddie George got there, I'm just gonna keep it a buck. They were just ass. They were just ass nasty.
I agree.
But like he got there, they went from, I think they won one game 2 years ago, and then last year they went 6-5. Pretty decent record and everything.
They almost beat Jackson State too.
They almost beat Jackson. But he's changed the offense. They run a completely different system, and he got them boys. He got them boys playing. They actually got, the weird thing is, for the first time in their school history, they actually got they actually got almost 24 4-star recruits going there or transferring there.
Yep.
So it's pretty good. But I think the weird thing is, HBCUs and everything, they don't want, I think it's gonna come a point where, because Primetime's fighting for it, I think there's gonna be one of these days, man. One of these HBCUs, they're gonna crack, into that Power 5 level. It may not be like in the next 5 years, but I give about a decade, 15 years from now, you're gonna see more HBCUs like in the Power 5 considerations, being in those bigger games and everything.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's gonna be a slow burn for that. But what you will see is a very inflated interest for HBCUs, and I thank rather Coach Prime for that, because me being a product of HBCU sports, playing basketball at Prairie View, I played against various NBA dudes, and so I never felt less than, in the sense that I didn't feel like I didn't belong on the court with them. Let me put it that way. And that's how most of us HBCU athletes are. It's like we don't feel less than. We know that we're not better per se, but we're going to strap them up and see how it shake out. And I think that a lot of our programs didn't get the exposure properly because I'm going to just say it. A lot of black people are scared to go deal with black people. I don't care what you say, because you're more comfortable going under a program that you view as more structured, which is what these PWIs present. It is what it is. I'm coming from a kid who, out of high school, I went to Stephen F. Austin State University first. So I made it my point to not go to HBCU because I went to a black college. I'm from the hood. I was like, I'm getting away from that shit. That was my mentality at 18. When I went to Prairie View, it flipped everything. I'm like, dog, I'm home. What am I doing? But the point I'm making is a lot of kids, and I'm glad Travis Hunter and guys like McCoy Maker were at the vanguard of doing that early, or Trace Young as well. He just transferred to Jackson from Alabama State, as a matter of fact. They see that, man, you can go. I went professional basketball from Prairie View, averaging like 6.5 rebounds. You can go and achieve your dreams and still get the HBCU experience. And you coming from me, who's probably a no-star kid, right, who played Division I. But these guys who are 4 and 5s, they're a little scared because they think you won't get the exposure. Coach Prime is taking the lid off now. So now you're seeing you still can get the exposure. If you can play, you can play. Ask James Houston how life been for him, getting drafted in the 6th round for the NFL. Ask him if it's been working for him. Other guys as well who got picked up from Jackson. Ask Marquise Bell from FAMU, who got picked up by the Cowboys right after the draft on the free agent wire, who has a guaranteed like $500K salary, which means they're serious about you, right? So you can achieve what you want to achieve from HBCUs. And the analogy I always use is this. I watched this video on Facebook. It's like this little tiny, it's like this, it's a cage of like dogs in a kennel. And the cage looked like about 10 foot high, so maybe somewhere around there. And all the dogs in that thing just barking, doing what dogs do. And this little dog start climbing the cage. He's slowly climbing. All the dogs just barking. He slowly climbs. He gets over. Immediately, all the fucking dogs start jumping the cage. Immediately. Once they see the small dog do it, it can be done. All of them start climbing the cage. That's the same thing I see with the HBCU movement. And I commend brothers like Travis Hunter, who I'm sure took a lot of scrutiny. He took some NIL money, let's be honest. But he has been another person at the vanguard of changing that perception. And I think Mikey Williams might mess around and go to HBCU too. And that'll be a big story if Mikey Williams in basketball goes to HBCU. So it takes somebody to start that process. It takes somebody to take a little risk, because to be great, you have to take risk. Nothing's guaranteed. And I think that top has been taken off, that proverbial top of doubt has been taken off. And now people will just trust that, hey, man, these people have my best interest at heart, or at worst, I can transfer somewhere else. I'm willing to give this my first shot or my second shot with all these 4-star, 3-stars coming to these schools, to HBCUs now. So I think it's a lovely thing overall, man.
Yeah, man. But man, that's a good thing. I gotta head out, man. I gotta get ready to go to work.
Hey, P Rose, I gotta head out too, man. So like I say, NC State they played up fine. But Chris, man, don't be a stranger to the show, man. Come on up and keep giving your takes, bro. I appreciate you.
All right, we'll do.
All right, man. So until next time, man, thank y'all for tuning in. Hit the like button on the way out. Hit the subscribe button if you want to bless the channel with the Cash App. You see it scrolling there, C Franks 11. Till next time, Hoop, I'm out. Peace.
And shout out to Hoop Jargon, man. I'm gonna add you to the crew, man. This crew called Hoop Jargon. They've been getting at it, man. They the ones that's gonna grill you, man, because they majority are all Houston people. So that's
shout out to Hoop Jargon. Shout out to Hoop Jargon.